All right. I believe we are live. Live and in full color. Well, actually, just me on camera. Uh, how's it going, everyone? It is I, PC, and this is going to be my complimentary stream of my roast that I did last night on the Nostalgia Critic. His review of The Wall, which was really, really terrible. And I figured I would just sit here and, talk to you guys, about some extra stuff about The Wall that I did not even talk about in the last stream. Some things I might bring up just to kind of, you know, clarify myself and to, keep everybody reminded of certain things. Because I mean, after all, this is live, and shit happens. So if I do repeat what I say from the live stream from last night, I do apologize. By the way, Patrick, I saw that you posted a blog, which I may actually might read it in front of everyone just to hear your opinion on this whole matter. Uh, because I mean that's what this is all about. This is just an extra video to just talk about the Wall, to talk about Pink Floyd, to talk about Nostalgia Critic, you know uh some stuff that was not mentioned at all. I didn't go back and watch the review because I'm not putting myself through that again. Uh, but one of the things I noticed, one of the things I forgot to mention, and this was my fault for not looking into it as much. Uh, I want to actually mention this, by the way. So, one of the songs that was parodied, the one about the Oscar, uh, the song was hang on. I'm gonna actually see uh if I can get my link out there to everyone. The song "Bye Bye Blue Sky." Yes, the song that Nostalgia Critic tried to say, oh, it's Oscar baiting. Like this song, yeah, "Goodbye Blue Sky." Yeah, like I I forgot to mention this. The song itself actually did win a award, I believe, and this is something I completely missed. Uh, but I don't understand why he would say all of this is Oscar baiting at all. Yeah, I think it was "Goodbye Blue Sky," the song that he was parodying. It did win an award. I think it was the Oscar, one of the Oscar awards, which I know the film itself. Uh, it basically won a lot of awards because it was a damn good movie. Uh, but I failed to mention that it did actually win an Oscar, I believe, from what I've been told. Uh, that's something I want to kind of address, is some things I might have missed. If you guys caught anything, I just want to just talk about Pink Floyd in general. Some of my favorite songs from The Wall. Um, and yeah, we can also talk a little bit about the Nostalgia Critic, but that's not what the point of this is. The point of this is for me to just sit here and just talk about a good movie. I want there to be a discussion, an actual discussion, instead of just making fun of the movie. Let's just talk about it. Why it's one of the okay. The movie is basically an opera. It basically changed the face of the music industry. Period. I looked it up. No Oscar. Okay, so it's not an Oscar. Uh, I'm thinking of some other award. Someone tell me it did win an award. Uh, I I could probably actually won two BAFTA awards. So the British version of the Oscars, BAFTA, British Academy Film Theater Awards or Academy or something. I think that's what that means. Not really sure. Uh, mm, I won a lot of awards. So even if it did win an Oscar, like it would because it earned it, not because it tried to earn it or it was trying to go for that. And I don't think the film itself was trying to go for being the next Academy Award winning movie or anything like that. It was supposed to be made as a artistic, creative film, and that's what it is. I went back to listen to the album, and for something from 1979, I'm amazed with the ambience and atmosphere from it. They were ahead of their time. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I actually listened to the album today myself as well. A really good album. Solid album. Uh, would I say that it's my personal favorite album? No, I wouldn't say that. But I understand why it gets its praise. And I may actually make a video later down the line talking about my favorite Pink Floyd albums. But mainly I just want to talk about The Wall. Because um, there's a lot of things to The Wall that, the reason why people enjoy it. Why people give it so much praise. Not just because of the technical aspect of it, but because of the creative and the influential aspect of it, which there's a lot of influence in this movie. I think there's a reference to Citizen Kane in the movie, where he wrecks the hotel room, and there's a lot of things about the movie, and it's not this complicated film where you basically have to scratch your head and I mean, yeah, there's a lot of mindfuck moments in the movie, especially with the creatures, but it's very easy to understand what exactly the film is trying to tell you. And the Nostalgia Critic, everything about that review, he misses everything. And I looked more into that. I actually watched the video, the music video of Another Brick to the Wall. I actually watched it, and there's a lot of things I didn't point out about it. Like you notice when the kids are they're marching, and they're all like wearing the same outfit. They're all wearing, the same hairstyles. The girls are, and there's a black boy in the movie. There's a black boy, and they basically they use a technique where they duplicate it, like to basically uh like to make everyone look the exact same, and it's supposed to symbolize how the British school system was, because back in the day, kids didn't get to go to the school of their choice. They got sent to a boarding school that the government sent them to. They weren't allowed to make their own choices in what schools they went to, what outfits they could wear, what their hairstyle should be. They all had to look the same and dress the same and be taught the same. And the film, this scene does a really good job of doing a commentary on all of that. You know, it criticizes the fact that the school system didn't let you, think as an individual. Well, and if you did think individually, you were to be made fun of. You were to be chastised for it. That's why they make fun of Pink. That's why he gets ridiculed. Why they make fun of him. Because he stands out from everybody else. Yet that's the whole mindset of the school. The mindset of the dean, and he wants everybody to know the same thing, the same material. Instead of accepting, the child as, someone that, learns the same material differently, they have to learn it the same way as everybody else. And you also notice in the hallway segments, like it's sort of mapped out like a maze, like, and this is actually this is something me and my friend talked about. It's mapped out like a maze. And have you heard the old saying, the expression, we're all like rats trapped inside of a maze trying to find the cheese? I mean, if you honestly think about it, that's the way our school system is set up still to this day. I mean, we all want to, get A plus and, get honor rows and get recognized for, our intelligence. And yet we're all running around like, we're rats in a maze. We're trying to reach the goal. And it's a good metaphor, actually, because it's so true. Even to this day. I mean, and it's the same way with how it was back then. And you notice, all the students were, they're just running, in this maze trying to find an exit, yet they can't. Cuz, they're like a rat trapped inside of a maze. And they can't be individuals. They all have to be the exact same. And that's something I didn't point out, and I didn't realize it until I actually went back and watched the music video. Me and my friend Morphbox, we went and watched this, and it's like, wow, this is really creative and it's interesting. And not only that, the World War II reference that they were making in the review is when the students are on these buses, on the trains where they're going to boarding school, being taken to boarding school. It's sort of like, the Jews getting carried away in the concentration camps. How did they get there? By train. So I mean, it I can see why, they would reference something like that and apply it to the students, because in a way they are the exact same as, a Jew that's, in a concentration camp. If you think about it, that's what it is. That boarding school is like a concentration camp. And it's just so creative. Very creative movie. And it just baffles me why Doug would just, overlook some of these messages and overlook some of this stuff. Because it criticizes fascism and it criticizes authoritarianism. And it does a brilliant job of doing that. So, I mean, and it also criticizes democracy. I mean, not democracy, anarchy. Because you see the students protest, well, not protesting, you see them not obeying, the dean, not listening to him, going anarchy, basically. Yeah, I doubt that NC would did well in his history classes. I was actually reminded by Citizen Kane when Pink destroyed his hotel room with his girlfriend was present. Yes, yes. There's a lot of references in this movie, yet it's good references, and it's an artistic way of looking at it. Uh, I believe I think it's also just it's just a really well put together scene. When you listen to the song, we don't need no education. It's they're not talking about the education system generally, because I mean back then we knew that it sucked, but they were mainly talking about how everyone was treated like you couldn't think for yourself. And that's and I can actually pull up some of the lyrics here. And it goes in depth about this. And it's just a really smart movie. If you look into it, if you honestly look at it, it doesn't come off as pretentious at all. It's basically really smart, and it's to me at least, it comes off as trying to be compelling, and it is compelling. It's very compelling in a way, because it's criticizing, and you can apply this to the social justice culture we live in now. People are trying to control our speech, trying to tell us what we can do, what we shouldn't say, and it's the same way as in this movie. The dean trying to say that kids should be taught this way and not they shouldn't be taught individually, because how dare a child be different, they should know the same. Because that's the mentality that they were stuck in, and in some instances they still are to this day. But the school system it's a lot better than it's improved a lot better than what it was back then. I'm a history buff myself, so it pisses me off that he took images like these out of context. Oh yeah. And that's nothing new for the Nostalgia Critic. It's nothing new that he just doesn't pay attention. And here's the thing, if I don't remember anything, if I don't, know how to convey my thoughts, to articulate it, I usually just go back and watch it again. Like, if I don't understand something, that's what I do. I go and watch it again until I do understand it. And I don't think Doug, even considered that. But that's one thing I want to point out. Uh, like the opening, like the where the maid is, where she's hesitant to knock on the door. Like the scene makes sense. If you watch it, I'm guessing the hotel room, uh, like to me, it symbolizes isolation, because he's alone by himself in the hotel room. There's no one else there with him. I mean, his girlfriend pretty much cheated on him and walked away from him uh, later on in the movie. But that to me, that's what the hotel room symbolizes. It symbolizes isolationism, uh, because we all feel like we're trapped. We're all trapped in isolation because our lives are so miserable that we just tune out the rest of the world. And that's what the character Pink it basically is. He's the embodiment of our struggles, our inner struggles. Because some of us do tune out the rest of the world. Because, either we're miserable, or we hold a grudge, or we hold our own personal walls up. Which, the isolation, of course, or a lot of people would even look at the hotel room as the wall as well, as just another layer of the wall. Isolation. I think the video is even more insulting to Nostalgia Critic fans as well. Yes. I think it's insulting in a creative aspect as well, because there's not much creativity in it. Like, it's just him mocking and doing a very piss poor job at it. Mocking a really intelligent movie. If you sit down and watch it, it's very creative, very compelling, and very intelligent. Because, it's basically a social commentary of, what the average person... I mean, you don't even have to be a rock star to understand this. And, Doug, says that it's pretentious, yet he has pictures of himself all over the walls. He has, these plaques. And here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with thinking highly of yourself. I think people need to just understand that they don't have to hate themselves. They don't have to feel miserable about themselves. And, I want to try to bring that out of people. I don't like seeing people feel miserable. But, I mean, watching this movie, though, and then watching the review, it's like Doug is the pretentious one, not the movie. The movie's not pretentious at all. I think Nostalgia Critic has seen too much crappy animated movies. It has melted his brain. Maybe. Maybe he watched too much of Food Fight. I think he actually liked these. He liked the bad animated movies. Maybe. But like, another thing I want to point out is, and I didn't even mention this before, about the airplanes, in the World War II scene. The airplanes, they remind me of the bombings, the British, when the Germans attacked Britain in World War II. That's basically what it is. The planes are attacking Britain, which at that time, it was a big concern. It was a big fear. It caused, Britain to fear, to go into panic, because Germany was flying over them and bombing houses and killing people. These German jets, dropping bombs. Well, not jets, airplanes. I'm sorry. Like, it doesn't come off as just, him showing World War II imagery for the sake of just showing World War II imagery. It's basically showing you what he had to go through. And not to mention, his mother was very protective of him. Pink's mother in the movie. Like, she was so overprotective of him. I think Siskel and Ebert will roll in their graves if they see film criticism turned into something like this. I think they would too. Because to me, this is an insult to, film criticism. Honest film criticism. I actually plan to get back into reviewing movies, but I might do it in a setting like this, in a live setting, where I actually just sit down, watch the movie, and then after, I'm done with the movie, I can give my thoughts that way. and just discuss it with you guys. Discuss the movie with you all in a review, because there's not a lot of videos like that. Because that's the main point. I want to try to add more discussion to, stuff like this. We can discuss about video games. We could discuss about movies. We could discuss about anything. This is a community thing. And I want everybody to be a part of it. Jolly Jake Lovell says, the only award any song from the movie was a BAFTA for another brick in the wall. I believe BAFTAs are the UK version of the Grammys. Grammys, Oscars, they're sort of the same thing, but he tried to say that Goodbye Blue Sky was a bait, an Oscar bait song, despite the fact that the song was made before the Wall movie even came out. that shows you just how much research he actually did on this. Mm. But getting back to the World War II imagery, that's what my thought process is watching the movie. Again today I watched The Wall again, and it makes sense to me now, and I guess you guys can call this a review, sort of. This addendum, yeah, I'm calling it an addendum. I know I'm probably saying it wrong, but uh, it's a good movie. It really is, and it does a really good job of showcasing the messages that they're trying to tell us. I don't even like James Rolfe's recent content, yet these are better than this. Oscar bait, more like master bait. Here's the thing about James Rolfe. James Rolfe has more credibility than Doug does in terms of film criticism, because he actually went to school for filmmaking. Doug did not go to he didn't go to school for film. He only went for I think he went for design, set design or something. Or I think he went for art or something. Uh, but he's not a good film critic, in my opinion. Sorry, dude, I had to. Maybe Nostalgia Critic thought he could toss mud at what he perceived as an as. Okay, let me start over again. Maybe Nostalgia Critic thought he could toss mud at what he perceived as a ode art house film and didn't realize how respected Pink Floyd is. I think that, here's what I think. I think people requested him to review this. I don't think it was in his mindset to, hey, I want to review Pink Floyd's The Wall, because why, I mean, and it's not a, I don't know, I don't want to say it wasn't a conscious decision on his part, but I think he was requested to do this. I could be wrong. Don't take my word for it. But I noticed that Doug tends to. I think Doug tends to hop on bandwagons, when it comes to, movies. Like, he usually goes for the popular ones that come out in theaters. I didn't even know that he reviewed The Wall until I watched Ralph, the movie maker's video that he did on him. And Ralph does a really good job of bashing Doug and, fucking making fun of him. I mean, certainly better than, what I'm doing here. I'm just talking on a webcam and just bullshitting with you all and, just talking about the movie. That, like What's wrong with just talking about the movie, Doug? Why do you need skits? Why do you need to try to be entertaining when you can't even pull it off? You can't because you're not funny. Um, he really loves horror films. I think Cinema Massacre's Monster Madness is the best show and much better than AVGN. Absolutely. But I still like the AVGN character. He is the reason why I do videos. Uh, he was one of the very first channels I ever subscribed to. And, it's because of his love for films and video games that made me decide, hey, I should try to make a YouTube channel and see where I can go with this. Ralph is awesome and actually knows how to make film shots, unlike Doug. Yeah, uh, Ralph definitely knows what he's doing. He mostly breaks down the movies. I'm guessing he went to school for this. I didn't go to school for film. Obviously, I went for art. But I mean, I watch films as a fan, as a film buff, as someone who just enjoys watching movies. And I will tell you first off if something I believe is objectively bad. Uh, which there is movies that are objectively bad. Mm. But my problem with Doug, the Nostalgia Critic, he tends to try to go for humor all the time instead of actual criticism. Instead of being an actual critic, he'd rather be an entertainer, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you can make an entertaining review. I mean, YMS does that, and he doesn't even show himself on camera. You just hear his voice, and he makes jokes about the movie, and it's entertaining. But he doesn't have to use a green screen. He doesn't have to fucking uh, use silly props that or that it makes it seem like it's a joke. Like you want people to take the art of filmmaking seriously, yet you're using silly props, making jokes about shit and someone's ass or like whatever type of humor. It's like 12-year old humor, like something you'd hear at school. I like AVGN's earlier stuff, but then he lost his way when he made the movie. Uh, I might actually go and watch the AVGN movie because it's been a long time since I've seen it. I might go and watch it and and have an objective thought on it once I'm done watching it, and I might review it one day on here. But I mean, right now, from what I've watched of it, I thought it was all right. It's not the best made movie. I mean, if you're an AVGN fan, then you'll enjoy the movie. I mean, I'm an AVGN fan, and I certainly enjoyed it. And there's a lot of references, AVGN references, and I'm guessing that's the reason why I enjoy it so much. As I look at it as an episode of AVGN rather than just a movie. Uh, I look at it as just an episode of it, and hell, he even reviews the game in the movie. At the end of the movie, he reviews ET. Uh, but I don't know. I like the movie. I mean, right now, until I go and see it again, and then I'll look at it objectively. But I mean, like I said, I'm not a film expert. I'm not like James. And, I watch it as an audience, as a fan, as someone that's into films. You know, that's the only reason I watch movies in the first place. I don't do it because I want to be a filmmaker, because I've already tried that and I suck at it. MTV's Grave. I genuinely Cinemassacre. I genuinely Cinemassacre. I especially enjoy James' film reviews like on Monster Madness. Genuinely like. I genuinely like Cinemassacre. I do too. I love James's film reviews because, I mean, it's from an actual filmmaker and someone who has made plenty of films in his lifetime and has experience and has been taught about filmmaking in school. He went to school for that. So he understands what makes a good movie. And he understands, the art of making a good movie. But Doug, no. No. I think the Nostalgia Critic is overrated. And the channel needs to die in Minecraft. Actually, it seriously does need to die off. Because, yeah, it's not funny. It really isn't. But let's get back into, the wall. I don't know why Doug would pick this movie to review. It's strange that he would. I mean, I know it's a popular movie, so it's not too strange, but I didn't expect him to fuck it up like this. I thought he was gonna say it's a good movie. It has amazing cinematography. It has amazing art direction, creativity. Uh, I didn't expect him to make fun of it like this, because that's all the review is. It's a 40-minute parody of the wall. I was about to say the room. The room itself is a parody of filmmaking. It's filmmaking at its best. But I don't know. Like, I don't know why he would think it would be a good idea to not actually sit down and review this. He picked it to pander to people who blindly agree with his videos. Maybe. Or maybe he's so desperate for attention that he thought he could tackle this since it was a popular movie. And it's still popular even to this day. Ugh, gosh. I can't stop yawning. I just think that everything about Doug Walker, like, his videos are just not entertaining anymore. And even some of his earlier videos, you could probably see some problems in them. You could see a lot of problems in them. Because I actually went back and watched a couple of them. It just seemed completely out of his range. He's not good with serious stuff. Like, who would want to see him review The Godfather or A Clockwork Orange? Oh, God. If he reviews A Clockwork Orange or Godfather, I will fucking tear him a new one. If he ends up making fun of those movies, I will fucking tear him a new one. Ironically, he claims that one of his favorite films is A Clockwork Orange. I have a feeling he's gonna make fun of it at some point and completely miss the message of fucking Clockwork Orange, which is, I mean, it's not my favorite movie, but I would definitely say it's a really good film, and it's probably one of the best known films, of its time, But, I mean, I think people just need to stop watching him because he's not funny. And his humor, the thing with his humor, his delivery is just so off-putting. It's like something a 12-year-old would laugh at. I mean, when I was younger and dumber watching his videos, yeah, I laughed at everything he said, you know? Because I was a stupid, stupid teenager. And that's what his videos appeal to. They appeal to teenagers. Yeah, I'm not convinced that he really likes films. He considers his favorite film. Ah, I don't know. But I just think that he he did this. He reviewed the wall because he knew he was gonna get attention from it. And people would agree with him. And I talked to my buddy Consul. He agrees with Doug's review. Yet I'm like, what did he review though? How is it pretentious? It's not pretentious. It doesn't come off as pretentious. That's really the only thing he complained about. He complained about the songs being mopey. That's sort of the tone of the movie. The whole movie's depressing. That's the point. Yet it's done in an artistic way, which actually makes it fun to watch and not depressing to watch. I hate when he tries to cram some sappy message into a review, i.e., big business or evil. We here at Cinemasker are good, like in the Cat in the Hat review. Uh, yeah, the whole Cat in the Hat. I mean, I I liked that review because in a way he's correct on that, but he's also a hypocrite. I mean, here's the thing. That's stating the obvious. That's like saying the sky is blue, To say that corporations do nothing but pander and, just want your money. Yeah. That's what corporations care about. They don't care about you. They don't care about, the original source material. And that's the way I look at Doug. He's a successful YouTuber all because of James. It's not because, he has actual talent, because I think he lacks in talent. It's because he's riding off the success of someone else who is actually popular. I actually put why you need to stop watching Nostalgia Critic as a title of my blog post. Speaking of that, I need to actually check out your blog post. And then after that, we'll get back into the wall. Because, I want to talk about, the creatures and, which I didn't really I mean I'm actually looking at some of the creature designs, some of the concept art from the wall, and some of them make sense. It does if you look at them. The Cat in the Hat movie is kitty litter. Yes, it is a terrible movie. I'm not denying that. It is perhaps one of the worst movies I've ever had the displeasure of seeing. Because it's so insulting to the source material and it's so stupid. And I wouldn't say it's corporate pandering. I mean, yeah, there's advertisements in it, which there's a lot of movies that do that. I mean, there's a lot of movies that have advertisers, like, for Universal Studios. But I know, Cat in the Hat does it differently because it's the bad kind of sponsoring. Like it's so blatant and so unnecessary. I get that, but a lot of movies do that. I mean, I'm showcasing this Pepsi bottle. I mean, Pepsi sponsors me, obviously. I've started watching The Wall. Haven't finished it yet. Oh, nice, J-Man. I knew I could get you. I knew I could get you to watch The Wall. Watch it, my friend. You will love it. And I think everybody should watch The Wall. In fact, I am trying to figure out a way where we could all do that somehow. One day. Hopefully, there's a streaming service that will allow us to do our reactions to movies. Hopefully, one of these days. But for now, I mean, the best we could do is just, I mean, for right now, the best I can do is just watch the movie and, and give my reaction to everything and then review it. And then we can discuss about it. But it's uh, it's a really good movie. I think everybody should watch The Wall and not watch the Nostalgia Critic's review of The Wall. And it's just a really bad review. And Doug has done a lot of those. Huh? Insulting to the source material and tons of ads from Cat in the Hat, yet Doug does the same in this Wall review. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Fucking hypocrite. Like he says, it's pandering to the sickest degree, yet what is he doing in his review? Oh, we made a joke album of The Wall. Which, I think it's up on YouTube. I think somebody uploaded it. Let me see. Someone might have uploaded it, but I doubt it. Because I tried looking for it just to show my friend. Someone actually did a video of, The Wall. They did a review of it. Leave the wall alone. Yeah, Anthony Fantano, the Needle Drop. He did a review of Nostalgia Critic's album. I don't plan to review the album because I know it's bad. It's just a really awful album. The singing is bad. The music itself was done by Rob Scallion, which I've checked out Rob's videos. He's really good. He's definitely an influence for me because I knew about Rob before. I knew Rob before this review. I knew exactly who he is. He's a world record holder. He managed to play 319 pedals. He broke a world record for that. The most pedals on a guitar, which I'm actually getting me a new guitar. And I may do some covers, maybe Pink Floyd covers, if you guys would be interested in that. Please don't sue me, Pink Floyd. It was JAR Media. I think that's I Hate Everything's podcast. It was both. The Melon did a bit in the beginning in his video that was better than Doug's whole album. JAR Media did one of the first videos that went after Nostalgia Critic for this elephant jizz. By the way, Corey Taylor even complained in the review about how he wasn't able to sing a song. Yeah. Yeah. Why didn't he get the chance to sing? Why not use his talent, his actual talent? Which isn't acting. His talent isn't acting. He can't act at all, but he can fucking sing and he can play the fucking guitar. I mean, fuck. I mean, you could have done something with him. But like I don't know. To me, all this I knew that the review was going to turn out bad before watching it, but I didn't think it was that bad. But holy shit, Doug proved me wrong. Whew, Lord. It just gives me a headache even talking about it. Like, I'm watching some of these videos about it just to hear other people's thoughts because, there's not that many people talking about it, surprisingly. You know, there really isn't. There should be more videos bashing this review, but there's really not that many. There's like maybe 7 or 8, but you know, it's just a really awful review. Probably his worst one. I would definitely say it's his worst one. I haven't seen the Deadpool ones, and I don't really care. I've heard about it. It sounds like the worst one, but after seeing the wall, yeah, no. I have some aspirin for that headache. I already have you beat. I got Tylenol, buddy. And I may have to take one after this. Well, Discord calls over. Time to finish watching the wall. Yes, watch the wall, my friend. Watch it. Watch it and be amazed. Which there's a lot of artistic liberties in the movie, and I like how Doug says, it's he says that it comes off as pretentious and arrogant. And after watching that scene, though, after watching We Don't Need No Education again, going back and watching it, no, not at all. It's not being pretentious about the message. It's not flying over your head or anything. Uh, I get the message completely. It's perhaps you know I will say it's one of my favorite musical movies, and it's like watching an opera. Yeah. Well, Nerpin, little yellow different. Yep. It's definitely different from most movies you see, and it gets so much praise, and that's what made the album popular. And the album is the second highest grossing album. I mean, here's the thing, people. You don't have to like The Wall. You don't have to. If you seriously don't like it personally, that's fine. If it's not your thing, that's fine. But don't make a mockery of it and then say that this is a love letter to Pink Floyd. That's not, you're not being genuine. You're coming off as a scumbag. That's how you're coming off. Be honest with your thoughts. But I mean, what do I know? I mean, I'm not a film critic. I'm not like the Nostalgia Critic, obviously. I mean, I don't have the followers, and I know a lot of people are probably gonna say, "Oh, you're just bashing Doug because you're jealous of him." No, I'm not. I'm happy with my audience that I have. People that actually care about my content, people that care about my art, my music, and that's why I'm so upset with this review because it's an insult to people like me. Because it's because of Pink Floyd, and it's because of, you know, this movie, The Wall. It inspired me to do music. It inspired me to pick up a fucking guitar. I mean, Pink Floyd is one of my favorite bands of all time. And my dad, bought me The Wall on vinyl. It was the first time I ever experienced vinyl, people. My dad actually went to see them in concert in Detroit. Yeah, it's amazing. It's crazy when you watch, these these people just bashing on this movie that doesn't even deserve it. It doesn't even deserve to be ridiculed like this, because it's a really good movie. You didn't show your dad this video, did you? No, no. My dad, he's off in the room asleep. Uh, he's in the living room. He's asleep. Me and him were actually talking about this. I basically told him, I mean, I was gonna talk more about this, because I'm so upset, and rightfully so, because you know it's an insult to something I'm really passionate about, because it's making a mockery of music, not just Pink Floyd, but it's a mockery to music in general. It's making fun of the art. So, it's crazy. I've noticed that most of the people who are defending Doug's video are calling us children, but I feel like most of the fans are kids. Exactly. Because that's who he appeals to. He appeals to 12-year-olds. He appeals to kids. He doesn't appeal to people like us who are actually critical of his videos. And that's fine. That's fine. If he wants to pander to the kiddies, that's completely fine on him. But at the same time, you know, people like, us, we have every right to call him out. He may potentially threaten us for criticizing us. Threaten us for criticizing us. Uh, I'd like to see Doug try to threaten me with a lawsuit. I really would, just for criticizing him, for saying these things. I'd like to see him try. It's a mockery of all self-expression by the nostalgia cricket. Cricket. I'm pretty sure you have, Jared Smith. Pretty sure you have. Uh, but here's the thing, people. We all make mistakes in life. We all make mistakes. We're human beings. And the best thing we can do is just better ourselves. I don't personally hate Doug as a person. I don't. I mean, I understand what he's trying to do. I understand he's trying to entertain his audience. He's trying so hard to, make something, to make an empire for himself. And I give him a lot of props, He's trying to turn something and, make the best out of it. But, you know, he needs to, what I think Doug needs to do, he just needs to stop. Stop with the whole joking and just take his fucking material seriously. Like, seriously, watch your own videos and tell me, Doug, with a straight face, that these are entertaining. Like, that's what I'd like for him to do. What makes it worse is that whatever Doug says is apparently fact to these people, even if he misunderstands the topic. Yeah, and that's the thing people don't realize. It's just an opinion. You know? At the end of the day, it's just an opinion. And honestly, I I just I think that Doug just uh, he needs to stop putting himself on a pedestal, cuz he's not even PewDiePie level. He's not even PewDiePie level popularity. He shouldn't be gloating about how popular he is. Because out here in the real world, if I ask someone who is the Nostalgia Critic, they'd probably tell me I have no clue. You're right. Doug's birth is an example of one of these mistakes. Obviously, I'm kidding, but his content sucks, with a few exceptions. Uh, I would never wish harm on the guy. I just, I want to criticize him. Just like I would anybody that messes up. I would criticize them and hopefully they grow and become better, like become a better person. I mean, that's what I had to do. I mean, I had to grow up. I had to face reality and realize that my childish antics, they mean nothing. They're not getting me anywhere. So I think that's what Doug needs to do. He needs to reevaluate, reassess himself, and just make better content. I mean, go back to what made your videos special? What made your videos good? Go back to that. Don't give us this bullshit. Don't give us this bullshit. Cuz people are sick and tired of it. I think Doug needs a ego really I think Doug needs a ego really does a rain check. As a public figure, you should be like a sponge. Absorb criticism and use it to better yourself. I mean, yeah, I think everybody should do that. Everybody should take criticism and better themselves. I mean, use your mistakes as a tool to better yourself and learn to not do that again. That's what you should do. It's what people should do. Uh, I make it to try to be a better person. That's what I strive for. You know, I'm not perfect. I'll never be perfect. I'll continue making mistakes. But, you know, I'm still a person at the end of the day. I'm still a human being. And I'm a human being that's trying to better himself. And I know Patrick probably wouldn't agree with me on this. I know he hates Doug. I don't personally hate him. I just hate his reviews because they're not fun to watch. They feel more like a chore, and they're getting longer and longer, which is not good. I mean, videos like this, live stream. I can understand, trying to get your point across, and it may take some time. That's an excuse because I'm not scripting everything. I'm not, trying to nitpick at stuff. Uh, which I sort of did last night, but that was mostly just me making fun of Doug. But I actually had some valid points about his review. And Doug, he does a lot of nitpicking in his reviews, especially about shit that doesn't even matter at all. Like, why would you, out of any movie to review, you decided to go for a movie that is well known for its artistic direction, and it's trying to be serious, but at the same time be creative with itself. And like I said, you know, you have every right to not like this movie. You don't have to like The Wall. You don't even have to like Pink Floyd. Just don't go around saying this is a love letter when it's obviously you making fun of them, making fun of the music, and not adding anything remotely, compelling. Making no compelling argument. That's just what I believe. But regardless, though, uh, I mainly want to talk about The Wall. Let's. I'm getting a headache just talking about Doug. I wanted this stream to mostly be about, The Wall, as a movie. Yeah, he also reviewed The Matrix, Indiana Jones, Total Recall, and other good films. I love Total Recall. In fact, I actually own it. I own Total Recall. It's one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. But yeah, I didn't like his review of it at all. Mm. But oh, it's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. It's supposed to be insane and crazy. Yet, it's actually a really fun action movie. And it's not meant to be taken seriously. Yet you reviewed it and took everything seriously when you're not supposed to. I'm sort of going for the Chris Stuckman approach to reviewing movies. Let's get to The Wall. Yes, let's get to The Wall. So, I got a question for you all. What is your favorite song on the album? I'll give you 2 minutes. Everybody, tell me what is your favorite track on the album, and we'll talk about each track. And then after that, I'll tell you my favorite track on the album. By the way, I'm just typing away here. And I'm also gonna pull up the lyrics to one of my favorite one of my favorite tracks. So Yeah, but that's what I mainly want to talk about is the album as well as the movie, and I sort of did get into the movie. I want to mainly talk about the album now too. So, what is your favorite Pink Floyd track on the wall? Uh, I noticed that when Pink cuts his hand, it dissolves into Pink in his swimming pool, making Pink look like a Christ figure. Which that's actually one of the scenes, one of the screenshots that I was looking at in the Rotten Tomato reviews. If you notice that, and I'm guessing that has to do with his depression somewhat. Cutting his wrists. Trying to kill himself or something. Uh, it's I don't know about that one. I'm guessing it's supposed to be a Christ figure. I'm not really 100% sure on that one, but to me it seemed more like, it it's it's a musician that tried to it's basically a reference of him just trying to find a way out. Not be cliche, but comfortably numb. It just has such a connection to me since I had drug and alcohol issues, and I use those to numb myself. Plus, the solo guitar is just majestic in it. Comfortably numb is my favorite. Um, oh yeah, comfortably numb. Oh yes, that's probably um in terms of melodies and chord progression, it's amazing. Hands down, amazing. And I wish I could just play it for you guys, but of course they're gonna copyright this video faster than you could say "oh shit." Um, like I'm pulling up some of the lyrics here. Hello, is there anybody in there? Just nod if you can hear me. Is there anyone at home? Come on now. I hear you're feeling down. Well, I can ease your pain, get you on your feet again. Yes, this is obviously, it's talking about his drug and alcohol issues because that was a really big struggle for him, and it was just it just added more layers to the wall. It added more bricks to the wall. You notice that, right? Each song it keeps adding layer upon layer and layer, building up the wall. That's not the only, track. Um my favorite one, of course, Goodbye Blue Sky. That's one of my favorite songs on the album. Goodbye Blue Sky. Look, mummy, there's an aeroplane up in the sky. Did you see the frightened ones? Did you hear the falling bombs? Did you ever wonder why we had to run for shelter when the promise of a brave new world unfurled beneath a clear blue sky? Did you see the frightened ones? Did you hear the falling bombs? The flames are all gone, but the pain lingers on. This is basically about the London bombings. When Germany invaded, this is basically a reference to World War II. When Germany attacked Britain, well, not Britain, they attacked London, the streets of London, bombing everything. And after all of it was said and done, that while there was a blue sky out there, basically after all was said and done, you could still feel the pain, loss of people, because a lot of people died. And honestly, that gets me, with this. And it just has a good tone. Really good tone. Very memorable. Um, my favorite Pink Floyd song in general is honestly Time and Big Gig at the Sky, both combined. Big Gig at the Sky. I don't think that's. Is that in the wall? I don't think that is. No, it is not. It is not in the wall. I was asking people what is their favorite track in the wall. I think it's interesting that Gerald Scarf went from the wall to the Disney version of Hercules. Yeah, fun fact there, people. uh, I also like Another Brick in the Wall, Part 1. Daddy's flown across the ocean, leaving just a memory. Snapshot in the family album. Daddy, what else did you leave for me? Daddy, what'd you leave behind for me? All in all, it was just a brick in the wall. All in all, it was just bricks in the wall. This was when his father died. Because his father died in World War II. Roger Waters' father. He when he wrote this song, uh, it really depressed him. And when you listen to that song and then the follow up song, you understand him, the struggles he had to go through as a kid. And the mother one is about his mother being overprotective of him, which she was, because from what I knew, from what I looked up, his mother was way overprotective of him, and I believe he was an only child. He was an only child, so it's understandable why the mother would be overprotective of him, which my mom is the same way. My mom is the same way when it comes to me, because I'm her son, A mother is going to do their best to protect their own, and that's the nature of a mother. And this song basically explains it all. Hush now, baby, baby, don't you cry. Mother's gonna make all your nightmares come true. Mother's gonna put all her fear into you. Mother's gonna keep you right there under her wing. She won't let you fly, but she might let you sing. Mama will keep the baby cozy and warm. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Of course, Mama will help to build the wall. Like, when you read that, it's like, you understand exactly the message, what they're trying to tell you here. And it's hard to believe that fucking Nostalgia Critic didn't even bother to look at the lyrics. Like, if he didn't understand what the movie was saying, read the lyrics of the songs. Listen to the songs. The songs basically tell you what's going on. Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2. This is probably uh, the most recognized song on the album. We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom. Teachers leave them kids alone. Hey, teacher, leave them kids alone. All in all, it's just another brick in the wall. All in all, You're just another brick in the wall. Sorry. Hey, you had some haunting great vocal parts. Oh yeah. You can't. You can't have your pudding if you don't eat your meat. Wrong, do it again. If you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? Yo, yes, yo, behind the bike sheds. Stand still, lady. I'll never forget that. The teacher yelling at the kids. It's just so. It's chilling. It's very chilling, but it's so funny. You can't have in your. You can't have any pudding if you don't eat your meat. uh, but yeah, I mean it's basically talking about how shitty the education system was back then, obviously, but it's mostly talking about, you know, it's mostly talking about individuality, which there was a lack of. There was no individuality. Nobody could be different. You had to be taught the same. You had to dress the same. You couldn't be different, and if you were different, you were made fun of it for it. And that song reflects, you know, what Pink went through. He got made fun of, obviously, because he was into poetry writing. He wasn't like the other kids, so of course the other kids are gonna make fun of him. And one of my one of the coolest things, I want to point this out. For those of you who haven't seen the music video, watch how the kids move to the beat of the drums. Like, watch that scene. Watch the sequence, the sequence, the sync of the kids and their feet marching to the drum beat. Like, that was well fucking put together. That whoever thought of that idea, that was fucking brilliant. Yeah, I think Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 is probably the most relevant today. There's still bullying in schools. Yes, even though there's anti-bullying laws, there's still bullying. And you, here's the thing. They're never going to stop bullying. Because bullies are nothing more than people that feel miserable about themselves, so they want to make other people feel miserable. So, yeah. But yeah, leave them kids alone. All in all, it's just another brick in the wall. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall. Another brick in the wall. And teachers wanting to mold you into someone you aren't. Exactly. Exactly, Patrick. Skeptical. Fox. Exactly. That's what the song is about. And Doug was like, "Oh, it's nothing more than it's talking about the education system." No. If you read the lyrics, you would understand exactly what the song is talking about. It's talking about control, aka fascism. What is fascism, people? It's controlling other people with the power of, you know, it's the power of authority, you know, authority figures trying to overpower, you know, everyone and keep them the same instead of teaching them individually, which I think that's what schools should do. Because we all have our own weaknesses and our own strengths in terms of different subject matters and how it's taught. Some of us are slow when it comes to certain subject matters. I fucking suck at math. I'm terrible with math. And if I was actually taught better, I'd probably would be really good at math, but I'm not. I'm not that great at math. My most interesting subject matter in school was writing, English. I mastered it in my ACT. I mastered writing and English. Well, actually, writing and reading. Yeah, writing and reading was what I mastered because I was strong in that. I used to write stories and stuff, type up reviews and stuff like that. Because I'm good at it. I'm good at putting my thoughts together. But I'm even better at it just talking about it, without having to write it down. So, yeah. But I understand why people do write stuff down, because sometimes they do forget. Hmm. Terrible Racer, like how Doug was molded into thinking he's a good filmmaker. Exactly. Same mindset. True. um, but I think Doug is trying to mold us to believe that he is a good film critic. Let's take a look at some more of these tracks here. Of course, the first one is In the Flesh. We came in. So you thought? Yeah. So yeah. Thought yeah. Might like to go to the show. To feel the warm thrill of confusion. That space cadet glow. Tell me, is something eluding you, sunshine? Is this not what you expected to see? If you want to find out what's behind these cold eyes, you'll just have to claw your way through this disguise. It's basically the it's the epitome of it's just the introduction of of this character, because there's more to this character than what we are seeing, and basically we have to you know listen to the rest of the story to figure this character out. That's basically what the song is. It's the opening of the character Pink, and or Waters, which it says Waters here, because he wrote it. Doug, this in this video is so confusing. Doug seems kind of self-aware, like the part where the Slipknot guy explains it's a review, but at the same time, not at all. The entire video is an example. uh, yeah, he thinks that by being self-aware, that automatically makes it funny, which it's not. It's not funny. He thinks he's being clever by breaking the fourth wall all the time. Uh, no, no, it's not funny. And yet he criticizes Deadpool for breaking the fourth wall constantly. Yet in Deadpool, it makes sense why Deadpool breaks the fourth wall. It's because he knows that he is a comic character. He's in a Marvel comic. He is self-aware that he is a comic book character and that he doesn't actually exist. He knows that. Doug's problem is by thinking that, being self aware all the time, that automatically means that his jokes are going to be funny, people are going to laugh at him, and then his characters that he makes, the characters that he makes. Uh, he believes that these characters, they should break the fourth wall as well, which that's not how it works. Other characters are not supposed to break the fourth wall. Only the main character. That's why Deadpool can get away with it, because he knows that he doesn't actually exist, and thus it's funny. Mm. But gosh, I'm losing track here. Uh, let's look at some more of these songs. Like you guys can kind of get it, right? Like watching the movie and reading the lyrics is basically the same exact thing. I mean, yeah, the movie has dialogue in it, some dialogue, and it tries to tell a story. And you could probably understand it better by watching the movie and watching all the things watching it happen. But I think the music does an even better job than that, in my opinion, because it's basically the same thing, almost. It's the same exact thing, and it's good. It's really good and catchy. Is there anybody out there? And basically the lyrics is just that. Is there anybody out there? 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 Let's see. Nobody home. Vera, bring the boys back home. Guessing that it has to do. Bring the boys back home. I believe that has to do with his children. Bring the boys back home. Bring the boys back home. Don't leave the children on their own. No, no. Bring the boys back home. Wrong. Do it again. Time to go. Knock, 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 knock. Are you feeling okay? There's a man answering, but he keeps hanging up. Is there anybody out there? Seriously, viewers, stop talking about Tug Walker. It's okay. It's okay. uh, it's okay because we're talking about the wall. You know, I don't mind people bringing up Doug, but I'm just gonna keep trucking along here and just I think people realize this. The point of everything. You know why Doug overlooked everything. It's just it's crazy. It's crazy. All this is crazy. It's like, when has the Nostalgia Critic ever been relevant? Ask. Okay, serious question, guys. When has the Nostalgia Critic ever been relevant like this? Ask yourselves that. Like, the last time I heard anyone ever talking about him in a negative way was when he made that Kickstarter. So, yeah, that says a lot. It says that not a lot of people really care about him. Not a lot of people care about the Nostalgia Critic. And by the way, Patrick, I'm actually ready to read your blog post because I want to read it to everybody just to see what you said, because I know You referenced me, and I appreciate that very much. And this is for you, my dude. It is for you. Guys, I want you all to follow Patrick Shields. I want you all to do that for me. And Sleepy, it's okay. It's okay. I don't want you guys to argue. I want everybody to have fun. Yeah, we could talk about the wall, but I want to have fun. I want to have fun. That's the point of these live streams, is to have fun. And we know The Wall is a good movie. People need to go watch it. And I'm going over some of the lyrics here, because it's the same exact thing that you get in the movie. I mean, yeah, the movie has some imagery and stuff that adds on to it, but the words in the songs, you can understand exactly the message that they're trying to tell you here. Ooh. But yeah, Patrick, let me check out your blog. Let me see. Did you post it anywhere? You didn't post your blog anywhere. Hang on. Hang on here. Don't argue, guys. Don't argue. we're just having fun, okay? We're just having fun. Let's see. I mean, I still have the lyrics up, but I'm serious. Like, I want to read your blog. I seriously do. Oh. Gosh. Whoa, there's a friggin' spider. There's a spider here. Die. Die, spider. You don't belong in this world. Killed it with a pill bottle. Friggin' spider. I'm not really big fans of spiders. Let's actually take a look at this real quick. What people on Reddit are saying. Nostalgia Critic, The Wall, not good. Of course it's not good. It's fucking terrible. Sardoni cast. I think that's the same video. Yeah, Sardoni cast. That's Your Movie Sucks. I Hate Everything, and Ralph, movie fan. Yeah, Ralph the movie maker. I'm sorry, not movie fan. Fuck. Gosh, I'm fucking tired. Ralph the movie maker. But yeah, Patrick, I cannot find your blog at all. I posted it in the comment section of your last video. Okay. I'm dumb. I'm stupid. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I'm such an idiot. Let's see. I seriously want to read it to everybody. because I want to see what you had to say. I'm curious. Okay. It's like a bunch of buddies getting together to roast some cringe. The last time I heard about Channel Awesome was the Change the Channel. Also, it's fine. Just wanted conversant about the music and Doug's opinions. Yeah, I mean, that's mainly what we're talking about. You know, how his opinions of each song, how he reflects, to me, it comes off as him just wanting to hate on the album, which is fine. He can hate on the album as much as he wants. He has every right to, but we have every right to criticize him. And I do not see it. Let me see if it's in my spam. Might be in my spam box. I'm sorry about that. YouTube automatically does that. Because they do that for, unnecessary links. I'm curious how many people are actually watching this. I'm curious now. Let's see. I hate the new YouTube studio. I see Doug is sending deadly spiders to get you. Spiders. Oh my god, that fucking bullshit. My site is called Patrick's Wonderful World of Film and TV. Actually, a really good name for a website. I'm going to call my website, I'm going to call it Pirate Canvas's Anal Chossum Dump. Where I bash everybody on Anal Chossum. Anybody had to fucking do with that website. That's what I'm going to do. Because they are a fucking joke. Okay, I found it. Okay. Patrick's Wonderful World of Film and TV. Film criticism at its worst. Why you need to stop watching Nostalgia Critic. Note, sorry for delaying part 2 of my Toy Story retrospective for so long. I've been really lazy as of late, and real life was really killing me. I'll finish the retrospective after I've done this article. Well, you better get to it, because now you have a new reader now. I mean, come on, dude. I'm waiting on that Toy Story retrospective now. Now you got me curious. God damn it. Nostalgia Critic's review of Pink Floyd's The Wall has to be the worst movie review I have ever seen. It's just me or your stream is lagging. I don't know why it is. It shouldn't be. Showing in the green. Yeah, there was a drop. Fucking connection. What the fuck is that? Connections. What is that? That's a reference to ICP. Nostalgia Critics review Pink Floyd's The Wall has to be the worst movie review I have ever seen, and it's not just my opinion. Shortly after the review was uploaded, many people have criticized the video for being the dumpster fire it really is. I used to be a Nostalgia Critic fan for like a few years. Then I lost interest in his stuff in 2012. Then, when the Change the Channel scandal was confirmed, I hated his content even more. Still, I was a bit curious of the video after seeing JAR Media's take on it. I should have listened to them because this is one of the worst videos I have ever watched. Everything about it pissed me off and keeps finding me ways to give me diarrhea. You might need to get checked on that. Just saying. Let's take a look on how much of a stinker this turd is. Which I'm sure your diarrhea smell just fine. Oh my gosh. I'm joking with you. But first, my thoughts on the movie. Pink Floyd's The Wall is a 1982 film adaptation of the album of the same name, loosely based on the experience of both Roger Waters and Syd Barrett. The film follows a man named Pink, a rock star who has a troubled life and feels discontent with those surrounding him. Metaphorically speaking, he creates a wall to separate himself from his fans, friends, and family. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it told a compelling and personal story with great music and brilliant animated segments from illustrator Gerald Scarfe. It's a wild ride, and I recommend it, but because Nostalgia Critic is a hack, of course, he has to make a review of it, and this time he really outdid himself with his idiocy. Yeah, I think we underestimated him. I hate Doug Walker's vocal ability. He claims to be a trained tenor, but he uses auto-tune. Auto-tune. Yeah. Doug executes. Order 66 on the wall. 1838 in the video. I can't believe he called it a love letter to Pink Floyd with auto-tuning. The auto-tune machine for Doug must have smoke coming out when he sings. True. So true. What's wrong with the video? I should start off by telling you what calling it a review is a real stretch. It's basically a recreation of specific scenes from the movie, which would be fine if there's any effort put into the parody and critical analysis, but there isn't at all. Yeah, you kind of might want to fix that. But there isn't at all. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm kind of tired reading this. Not saying it's boring or anything. It's just I haven't gotten much sleep. Please forgive me. For starters, it's obvious that Doug Walker, Nostalgia Critic's creator, failed to do any research on Roger Waters' life and instead focuses on mocking the songs for the sake of doing so. For those unfamiliar with the life of Roger Waters, he had a troubled life. His father was killed in battle during World War II, which, yeah, he was killed by the Germans. It's stuck on one frame. I'm sorry. It's playing fine for me. It could be buffering for you. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. It's playing fine for me on my end. Could be your connection or my connection. I mean, it's showing green. Which I'm sorry, guys. He can't sing worth a damn, and it's particularly insulting when Roger Waters' vocal imperfections were kept in the album. For those unfamiliar, yeah, I've already read that. He suffered corporal punishment when he was at school, and he isolated himself from his peers during his success with Pink Floyd. What Nostalgia Critic did, however, is criticize the songs for being pretentious without any reason, which is ironic because the video itself is pretentious, and that I agree with. The video is also unclear on what it wants to satirize, and again, takes the film's themes completely out of context. Doug's spoof, or of Another Brick in the Wall Part 2, inexplicably mocks the American educational system, which has nothing to do with the actual context of the song, which was based on the corporal punishment Waters went through in general. Corporal punishment was common practice in schools back in the 1950s, so this song is very insulting to people who were victimized by this kind of child abuse, and is therefore not funny. It doesn't help that the special effects are very sloppy. To quote the late Gene Siskel's controversial review of Poltergeist, anyone can do special effects. Now, what Siskel said in his review of that movie was disrespectful to the people who worked on it, but compared to what I saw, I think he might actually be right. The CGI and green screen were atrocious, and the compositing is the lazy. Yeah, the composite shots in that were just so shoddy. So fucking awful. I mean, I can make better composite shots. I can. Just give me a green screen, and I can make better composite shots than Doug Walker can. I can rest assure you that. Let's see. Later on in the video, it for some reason turns into a ham-fisted and on-the-nose satire about social media culture when it parodies scenes involving Pink's dictatorship. The audience members are depicted as blind fanboys / fangirls who blindly agree with everything their leader says, and they salute him by saying hashtag. What's weird is that the audience members are not seen sitting down in the benches. Instead, they are seen on video screens placed on the bleachers. Oops, I forgot to mention on how it doesn't know how to parody the character of Pink, Corey Taylor from Slipknot, and his teenage son makes cameos in the video as younger and older selves of the supposed character, but when he becomes a dictator, he's somehow played by Doug Walker. Doug Walker. Yeah, that didn't make any sense. Like, why? Why couldn't they do that with him? It just makes no sense at all. The slow songs are beautiful, meaningful, and full of emotion. The fact that he calls them boring only goes to show how little he gives a damn. Doug is not self-aware at all and doesn't understand irony. That is so true. He doesn't. and I would play the Bender clip of that is irony. The use of words other than their literal intention. Now that is irony. The parodies of the other songs. Hang on. Where was I? So Doug can't even make up his mind on how to parody Pink. Also, make a note that he wrote "Person You Hate" on his forehead, making it clear that Doug never took any criticism, bother for his work and for his actions. The parodies of the other songs are equally insulting to the ones I pointed out for obvious reasons. But to make matters worse, Doug himself actually advertises a parody album in the middle of the video and calls it a love letter to Pink Floyd, when it's really disrespectful to the work. In response to Doug's disgusting ad, here's my promotion of something I personally consider a love letter. After these messages... Yeah, Roger Ebert, The Great Movies. Roger Ebert is my favorite film critic of all time, even though I don't always agree with his reviews. His love and passion for the movies has been clear, and I'm always interested in what he has to say. In 1996, he began writing essays on what he considers great movies. I think Ebert really topped himself with these essays because this is such a love letter to the art film and film history, and you can read them either in book form or on his website. If you're new to Ebert or already a fan, I highly recommend checking out these essays. It's Roger Ebert in top form. Now, other letters to film I also recommend are Cinemassacre's Monster Madness or Oliver Harper's retrospectives and reviews. In fact, get your film education from a variety of sources instead of the Nostalgia Critic. Speaking of which, back to the video. May God forgive me. I don't know if he will. I don't think he will. Just kidding. Towards the end of the video, we get an animated segment that unsuccessfully satirizes the trial segment from the end of the movie. This is surprisingly good animation from YouTube artist Fina. I think that's how you pronounce it. Fina? Is it Fina? Or Fina? Fina? But you can't top... but you can't top the legendary artwork from Gerald Scarfe, who poured his heart and soul into making those animated segments. Sofina's work is in the wrong video. After the song is finally over, Nostalgia Critic completely contradicts himself by telling Corey Taylor that he liked the movie for its good music and imagination. Are you serious? You actually go from unfairly trashing the songs for being full of itself, then later contradicting yourself by saying that you like the film. What kind of review is this? But I saved the worst for last. The video ends with, I'm not making this up, Corey Taylor doing a pointless cover of the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song, and Nostalgia Critic and his cronies are singing along. What does SpongeBob have to do with Pink Floyd? In fact, I have a better question. Why is this video even made? In conclusion, just to sum up the obvious, Nostalgia Critic's review of Pink Floyd's The Wall is an unfunny, lazy, ham-fisted, on-the-nose, dim-witted, pretentious, boring, and downright disrespectful to film criticism to Pink Floyd and to its audience. It's perfect example on why you shouldn't be watching the Nostalgia Critic, and his work should be avoided at all costs. It truly is the worst film review I've ever seen, and one of the worst videos ever made. And that says a lot, because, I've seen a lot of bad videos. Hell, I've made bad videos. I can vouch for that. But nothing comes close to this. A better love letter to Pink Floyd would be what any average fan of Pink Floyd does. Just enjoy. Oh, Lord. Honestly, this article pretty much sums up everything that I've already said. In the last video, it sums it up perfectly. I highly recommend people to check this out. And I'm actually going to plug you. I'm going to share this on Twitter after the stream is over. But, I mean, that's obvious what people should do, Watch the movie. And speaking of the trial, I want to sort of, talk about this, the trial with the creatures, which you brought this up, and I'm glad you actually did bring this up, Patrick. The creatures, they have different meanings to it. A lot of people can look at it as, a symbolism of his childhood, his, scary thoughts. It could be the thoughts of a child, and the creatures represent more of his, of his inner struggles, which they represent the wall. It's obvious that that's what these creatures represent. And, it amazes me that people would just look at it as nothing more than being pretentious when it's obviously not. To me, it seems like, Waters is trying to get people to understand, I'm just trying to tell my story without coming off as pretentious, but instead use it as a way to create and to allow people to express themselves, to bring the best out of people. And I think that's a message that should, that's the message of the movie. And I like how Nostalgia Critic says that it ends openly, despite the fact that's the point of the film. It's supposed to be open. But it's not open-ended, because it actually ends. He breaks down the wall, he becomes a different person. He becomes a better person. Which, that's something you should do, Doug. Maybe you need to break down your own wall. Your whole egotistical wall. Do people actually have to pay for Doug's album, or is it free? People actually have to pay. Pay Doug money to listen to him hate the music. It costs money and your dignity. How much? Too much. Don't buy his music. Instead, I want you guys to go to bandcamp.com/canvaspirate or pirate canvas and buy my album, because my music is better than Doug Walker's. And trust me when I say I am going to be making a actual music album where I'm singing, and I can actually sing, unlike Doug. Doug should pay you to listen to his screechy voice. Good article, Pat. Yes, it is a really good article. Really good. But yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'll plug in my album. Fucking buy my album. Buy my music, because my music is better than Doug Walker's. And plus, it's really cheap. And the money, it goes for a good cause. So, yeah. Because here's the thing, people. Here's the thing. I'm not in this for the money. I'm not in this for the fame. I want to actually create something and put it out there for people to enjoy. I'm just like Pink Floyd. You know, I want to make something, and, you know, I want to have people love it. People enjoy it. So, if I can do that for you all, then I'm fulfilled. You know, I'm happy. And, you know, the movie has taught me that, you know, maybe I don't need to have these walls built up. Maybe I need to be more open and more honest and, you know, just be more expressive. That's what it makes me feel like. The schoolmaster, his wife, his mother, and the judge, Worms, and his bailiff, he's reconstructing himself in the trial. Right after the songs stop, when he comes to his senses, right after his neo-Nazi-like tirade, it's not just weird creatures for the sake of weird creatures. Yeah, and he also tries to say that, you know, the creatures are, you know, they don't have any characteristics about them. Like they're supposed to be characters of this movie, which they represent something much bigger than just being characters or just being creatures. It's, you know, it's symbolism, basically. They don't have to have characteristics, because they're not the main focus. They're a representation of his struggles, his depression, his, you know, his anxiety and everything else. And it's especially not a shameless plug of another channel's animation and characters with no bearing in the wall, or even Nostalgia Critic's review. Agreed. All-Star. Finna is a good artist, but she should honing in their characters. Shoehorning their characters into it didn't make any sense. It didn't, because they were like, oh, we need more characters. We need to show off the characters and give them personalities and everything. Blah 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 blah. So, I guess that's pretty much all I have to say, to be honest. Yeah, Roger Ebert's The Great Movies is the real love letter. I agree with that. Because he actually loved movies. He did. And I personally didn't really like all the characters. Like, I get it. They are freaky and extremely creepy, and that some of them are furry bait. It's not the first time I've heard that word. I don't really care for Fina's artwork or animation, but it is good. It's just out of place. But can I please keep them at a distance? Can the video, like, seriously not have the creatures mug the camera? Exactly. And I think, we all know what happens at the end of the movie. He breaks down the wall, and you see the kids cheering, and it's just a very happy moment, and it's a moment of a movie that that it was building up to. It wasn't just an open ending. It ended. And I think it ended really well. Now, how you interpret it is open, but the ending is the ending, and it ended. It didn't leave anything open. Gerald Scarf's characters were meant to be disgusting. Is it just me, or I can't hear the lyrics to Fina's music video? Gotta get to bed. Night, guys. Good night, Patrick. I'm getting ready to end this stream because I'm actually gonna go on Twitch tonight, people. I am going to be streaming a game on Twitch right after this stream. If you guys don't mind sticking around, go to twitch.tv/piratecanvas. I'll be there, and we will play a game. That's what I'm going to be doing after the stream. The characters in the movie actually acted the way they should. No characteristics. He didn't even watch the scene, did he? Yeah, he says the characters don't have any... the creatures don't have any characteristics. Yet they don't need to have any characteristics, because you understand what they represent. And that's the thing. The schoolmaster is pissed off that he couldn't do to Pink exactly what he wanted to. Exactly. If you watch the end of that scene, we don't need no education. In A Brick in the Wall Part 2, if you watch that scene, you see how authoritarian the dean comes off as. His wife is very vicious and wanting to just kill Pink right away, insulting him personally, and his mother just wants to take her helpless little baby home, aka character. Exactly. Because the mother is overprotective of her baby. She lost her husband. Her baby's all she has. My mom's the same way. My mom is way overprotective of me because I'm an only child. I got a stress ball, by the way. I mean, yeah, I completely agree. And he just finished the wall, J-Man. Yes, he finished the wall. What did you think of it? Was it good? I bet you it was good, wasn't it? I'm actually probably going to stream a game after this, maybe. I'm probably not. Actually, I may just I may just try to lay down or something, because I'm kind of tired, to be honest. I might stream video games tomorrow. Outside the Wall is almost cheerful song about the catharsum of opening up. Exactly. you know, we have a hard time opening up. It's hard to open or break down those walls because every person has walls, and the point of the movie isn't particularly, you know, trying to be pretentious and not, you know, look at other people's problems, not it's not trying to say that other people's problems are not important, but the character of Pink's problems, that's what it's reflecting. That's what the movie is trying to tell you. But yeah, what did you think, man? What did you think of The Wall? Because I thought it was amazing. One of the greatest movies, artistically, from an artistic standpoint and from a musical standpoint, one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. But yeah. So I guess that's really it, guys. Um there's not really much else for me to cover. And I mean, how can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? You can't have your pudding unless you eat your meat. Oh my gosh. So, um, I guess that's really it. I mean, we pretty much discussed the whole movie, and and you know, I think this turned out just as good as the video, because we actually talked about it. I mean, the only thing that I feel, you know, a lot of people may think of this movie as being pretentious, or they may get the message across wrong. I just say do some research into it. Look into it, or look at what other people are saying. It could be. That's what I do sometimes. I sometimes look at other reviews and form my opinion to help me form my opinion. Sometimes. But I will. Okay, he says he likes it. Um, wouldn't call it my favorite movie though, but I will say Doug didn't understand the movie at all. More of all this, you don't have to like classic rock or movies, but don't crap on them with no thought put into them. Exactly. And when they are given, they're all, some stagger and fall. After all, it's not easy banging your heart against some mad bugger's wall. That is so true. And I think that's the best way to end this stream. Thank you all for, tuning in, for listening to me ramble. It was great to discuss some of the stuff that I wanted to discuss. Um, Hopefully, I'll keep doing more streams like this because I want to discuss more movies and more anime and video games with you all. I actually talked to J Man, and we're thinking about doing a podcast of